Welcome to Life Journal Jumpstart. I'm John Burgess, and it is September 8th. We're going to be reading through Psalm 48, Jeremiah 42 through 44, and Revelation 13. I'm so glad that you've made it through this first week of September. I know a lot of people are tempted to just be out because it's prophetic imagery and it's a little difficult to understand, but there's so much rich goodness. Plus, in these last days, we need this perspective to see how the story ends. So keep it up. Don't give up. Psalm 48 is basically talking about the presence of God is our joy, our security, and our salvation. And we're praising God for defending our city, defending our lives, and guiding us into eternity. Jeremiah 42 through 44, it says here, look, we promise we will obey. The people of God are approaching Jeremiah saying, we promise we'll obey whatever the Lord tells us. If it's good or if it's bad, we'll obey it. The Lord's judge between us. We're going to obey it. And Jeremiah, it says, and it came to pass after 10 days that he received a word from God in 42 verse 7. Isn't that interesting? Jeremiah can hear the word of the Lord, but he has to wait as an intercessor on behalf of God's people for 10 days. I think in our world of instant culture where we want it here and we want it now, our microwave culture, if it's not an instant download, we're not going to wait for it. If we don't get to see the video real quick, we click on to the next link. That God is calling us to learn from Jeremiah, that especially standing as that man or woman in the gap for those around us, we have to be willing to wait on the Lord, because a lot of times his words won't come in our timing, but they will come right on time. And if we aren't willing to wait, a lot of times we'll just go forward and do our own thing. It's a really important lesson to learn from Jeremiah. And then Revelation 13, we begin to hear about the Antichrist, which means the enemy of Christ, who imitates Christ in order to oppose him. The word does not appear in the book of Revelation. It only appears in 1st and 2nd John. However, there are descriptions of the Antichrist elsewhere in the Bible. One of the most important is in 2 Thessalonians 2, 1 through 12. Christ too warned about the false Christ, for example, in Mark 13, 14 through 23. And the start of the passage also refers to the abomination of desolation in Daniel 9, 27, which describes the rule of the Antichrist. The abomination of desolation is one of the worst acts of the Antichrist, and it means the terrible act that destroys. Together, all these passages describe a very powerful ruler who gains authority over the world soon before Christ's return. The Antichrist is not just a politician, as some assume, though there will be political power. He gains power over the world's religions as well and declares himself to be God by the power of the devil. He carries out astonishing acts. What do we do in these last days? Do we need to run around looking for the Antichrist? No, we need to understand that even though authority will be given to the Antichrist in these last days, our authority comes through Christ and the Word of God. And so we'll finish this time together as we do the first week of every single month with our Bible creed. This is my Bible, the Word of God, and I boldly declare that this is the highest law in the land. I am what it says I am. I have what it says I have. I do what it says I do, for I am a citizen of heaven. This is not our kingdom. This is not our world. We are for a different kingdom, and God has us here to be a light in the darkness, and I can't wait to see how He uses you this week to be exactly that. Thanks for your time. God bless.